Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Grizz. I know I haven't posted for a minute. That's my bad. I'm going to get back to it. But today we're going to be talking about the Steelers offseason, some moves I liked, some more needs, what I think we should do for the draft, and let's get right into this video. To give the Steelers an overall grade for this offseason, I'm going to lean towards a B to a B+. They've filled needs and upgraded at O-line and inside linebacker, which were two big needs. My favorite three signings we had: Pat Pete, good veteran piece to bring in, good locker room piece. People were hating on having Pat Pete come in because obviously we lost Cam Sutton, which sucks. I love Cam Sutton. He's a great player. But bringing in Pat Pete allows us to have that veteran piece that can mentor whoever we bring in from the draft. And I'll get on to the draft needs later on. But another one of the signings I really liked was Cole Holcomb from Washington. Easily was their best linebacker, and definitely an upgrade from Devin Bush. I mean, it's not hard to be better than Devin Bush, but we definitely lacked in that linebacker department. And then my third favorite signing was probably my favorite all around was Isaac Samalu, offensive lineman from the Eagles. Great offensive lineman. That's got to be one of our best moves we've made in like the past two off seasons. I was really shocked because, you know, the Steelers, they're not known for an offseason making big moves, but I think that's one that's kind of flew under the radar. That's a really good signing, and I really like that. So to touch back on Pat Pete, we added a cornerback with some splash play and is able to mentor the younger guys in that secondary room, which I really like that piece because it's almost like we get Pat Pete, who was a good corner last year, but then we also get his veteran side and his knowledge, all that. So I really like that move. We also added lots of depth on the defensive side of ball and added some depth on offense. Some needs I do still think we need is a young cornerback, another nose tackle or D tackle. I love Cameron Hayward, but we definitely need to add to that that defensive line. He gets better every season, it seems like, but he is getting up there in age. So I definitely hope we target somebody in the later rounds or a good veteran piece in free agency. Now, I had this in my notes before we made the move, but you saw Steelers bring in Allen Robinson. Absolutely great trade. Omar Khan masterpiece. Swapped 7th round picks and brought in a veteran outside receiver for $5 million. Now, Allen Robinson hasn't been the best over the past 2 seasons, but I really like Allen Robinson. I'm a big Allen Robinson fan, and that's great because it gives us room to have Deontay or George Pickens come out the game because they played like every snap. We just didn't have that another outside receiver threat, and I think Allen Robinson is still good, and that's a good pickup. Another offensive weapon we could use would be a second slot receiver besides Calvin Austin. Obviously, we didn't get to see Calvin Austin last year, but I'm really hyped and happy that he's going to be playing this next season. I really want to see him play. I think he's a great weapon with his speed, but we definitely need somebody else that can rotate with him. Another thing I think we need, which is like my second biggest besides the last thing, is a slot cornerback besides Arthur Millette. I love him. You know, he gives us all, but he is definitely a liability in coverage. We've seen that. Love dude, you know, he'll lay the boom. He'll make great tackles, but he's just not the best in coverage. But I think our biggest need, and it's something we should really target, a left tackle. We need a tackle so bad. I'm sick of watching Dan Moore. I'm sorry, just Dan Moore. He's just not good. To keep it a buck, keep it straightforward with you, Dan Moore is just not good. Stuff we should target in the draft. Since I've kind of been stalling on making this video, so there's been more rumors we might trade up from the 32nd pick to 9 with the Bears. I'd love to get that tackle from Ohio State if he's there, or the Northwestern tackle that can also play guard. I do think if we move up to 9 and keep 17, we should go tackle at 9 and then secondary corner at 17. Y'all saw my other vid. I do appreciate that. Y'all blew that video up. Appreciate that. But I really like Joey Porter, or I'd like Branch from Alabama. I think Branch with Minka would be deadly. I would love having that dual threat, both of them. But I think left tackle early is probably our biggest need. Another need would be a nose tackle. The draft has a lot of good D-line this year. We don't have to go super early on a D-lineman, but maybe something like the 3rd round or something like that. Outside linebacker, you saw Bud Dupree sign with the Falcons. It kind of sucked. I would have not mind having the Bud reunion and having him, Highsmith, and Watt. But as you guys see, all you Steeler fans know, whenever TJ Watt goes down, it's a struggle. The whole defense just gets worse. Obviously, TJ Watt is a phenomenal player, superstar, so losing him is obviously going to affect it, but there's been times where we won't even get sacks in games that he doesn't play. So we definitely need to get somebody that can at least help add, because we already see Highsmith developing, and Highsmith's looking really good. He had a really good year last year. But we don't need to target offensive or outside linebacker like super early in the draft. We could maybe get a vet piece in free agency, or even the 4th round, something later. It's not like I'm out here saying we need to get one in the 1st round. It's definitely something later. Back to touch on a second slot receiver. I think Jonathan Mingo, 6'2", big receiver, great speed. If he's there in the 4th round, I do think we should take him. I really like him. I think he'd be a great piece. Our offense, we have all these weapons, and obviously we just need Kenny Pickett to keep developing. And if we got him too, along with all our other pieces, our offense, it's looking pretty scary. I'm not going to lie. We just need to, maybe a little bit better play calling, score some more touchdowns. But with that offense, I would be really happy. I think with our late round pick, 7th-ish, we should target a corner in the 2nd round for sure. I mean, not the 2nd, the 1st round, my bad. But we should also take a risk on somebody with some development. 7th round is pretty much a shot in the dark. It's pretty much who's ever available. But you got to think Mike Hilton went undrafted, came in, and he made a name for himself with one of the best slot corners in all of football. That also sucked when he left. But we should just take a risk in the 7th round on somebody like that, like just a corner that we can develop alongside Pat P and everybody else in our secondary room and whoever else we draft. After draft, I had a veteran wide receiver, but you already know, touch base on that. Allen Robinson, great pickup. I love that move. But we should get a D tackle, like I said. It's just a need. Loudermilk, same thing with Dan Moore. He's been here a couple years. I just don't think he's that good, to be honest. Boss name, like you can't go wrong. Like Loudermilk, super boss name. But I definitely do think we need to target a D tackle after the draft. We don't have to draft one. Bring in like a veteran, something like that, like a 30-ish-year-old D tackle. Bring him in for now. That helps solidify the defense even more, which I'm really happy about. Depending on how this draft goes tomorrow night, we'll see how the Steelers are looking in this offseason. But yeah, with that, that's been the video. This has been Grizz. I appreciate you guys for watching. I just want to tell y'all, I'm sorry for not posting for a little bit. I'm going to get back to it. I also am going to start streaming some MLB videos on Twitch. You already know. All the links are in the description. If you're into, prize picks, a little bit of gambling, tap into the Discord link in the description. All my other social media, especially Twitch. I'm going to be running some MLB The Show with T. Clark, who we did the NFL weekly picks with. So make sure you guys watch that. And yeah, thank you guys again for watching, all the support. This has been Grizz, signing out.